Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm down at Alta Auto Group. We get to take a look at their 2022 Tesla Model X Plaid. Massive shout out to them for providing this vehicle for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website because they have a ton of awesome pre-owned inventory. That link is down in the description. The Plaid that you see behind me is finished off in black, and they have a starting MSRP right around $122,000. To start off today's review, let's talk about what powers this Model X Plaid. So this has a 100 kilowatt battery and a tri-motor powertrain. There's one in the front and two in the rear, paired to a single speed transmission. It pumps out 1,020 horsepower and 900 pound-feet of torque. That is sent through the all-wheel drive system. This weighs in right around 5,300 pounds. This will do 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds with a top speed of 163 miles an hour. And as far as charging goes, this can charge in 8 hours with a high power charging option, around 17 hours with a normal power outlet, and it has a total range of 300 miles. This has a wheelbase of 116.7 inches. Its overall length is 198.3. It has a width of 78.7, a height of 66, and its ground clearance measures in at 5.4 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this Tesla Model X Plaid, let's start off with the Tesla badge right in the middle. There's a small cutout on both sides. Now it's not a normal grille like in a gasoline powered vehicle, but it has a nice design to it right in between the headlights. This does have LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. The DRL has a pretty cool design in the lower section of the housing. It's very sleek too, matching the line for that hood, and the LED turn signals are down in the lower section. Now there's also parking sensors nicely integrated in this front bumper, and there is even a larger grille down in the lower section just to provide cooling to all of the electrical components. And there's even cutouts in the far section of the bumper to provide better aerodynamics for this vehicle. As you can tell too, there's really nice lines that come down the hood right on the top section of the headlights there. And as we move on to the side profile, this particular model has an upgraded set of wheels. The factory wheels are 20 by 9.5 up front and 20 by 10.5 in the rear. This model has a set of 22-inch wheels, finished off in black. The brake calipers are black too, which are also regenerative. So it has that technology along with the auto leveling system. So when you're taking this around corners, it will auto level each individual corner just depending on the tight turn that you're taking. Now this even has body colored side mirrors, and the camera system is not on the mirror. It's actually just above the front tire. There's also another camera right in the middle of the doors, as you can tell right there. We'll look at this camera system later on in today's video. And a big difference with this Tesla is the windshield goes all the way to about the headrest of the driver's seat. So as you can tell, it stops right there, giving you a lot of visibility out of that front end, as you'll see once we get this out on the road. There's even windows for your backseat passengers on each side, which is pretty cool to see, especially for this SUV. Now all of the window trim is blacked out too. There's nice lines running down in the lower section of the door. Now the fender arches and the lower side skirts are finished off in plastic, but it has a really nice flowing design all the way back to this rear spoiler. Now this model even has LED taillights too. Tesla badge is right in the middle, and it has a backup camera just underneath that. Tesla is blacked out. All of the parking sensors, as you can tell, the active wing is currently up, and there's a little bit more plastic down in the lower section. This is even a pretty practical SUV as well. It can tow up to around 5,000 pounds, which is pretty impressive for this. And with everything being blacked out, very sinister. I love the look of this Model X. But let's move on to the cargo space now. So this is the key fob for the Tesla. There are no visible buttons on it, but with the Tesla logo in the lowest section, we have lock and unlock, and then this top button here, if I double tap on that, it will open up the power liftgate, which is of course great to have. Now this is a 6-seater vehicle, so we have 3 on each side. With the third row up, as you can tell, there's a little bit of storage space above the shelf. If I open this up, look at how much storage space there is underneath. You can fit a lot of items, all of your charging cables, anything that you may have. There's a little bit of storage over on that passenger side and a small cutout on that driver's side. So it's pretty practical even with the third row all the way up. And being the power liftgate, I can use the button on the key fob or just push on that button and it will automatically close. Now we can work our way to these back seats. Now with these doors here, they actually open up towards me. So if I walk up to the vehicle and I just push on this part of the door, they will open up with that very unique design. Pretty cool to see that. Now as you can tell, they open up all the way and you can actually adjust that height. And what I have found too, if a car was parked right next to this, they will actually open up in a way that they won't hit the vehicle next to you. So pretty innovative to see that design. And with the seat up, obviously there is no intrusions on getting into these back seats. It's very open as well. But behind the seat, if I push on this button, I can move this seat forwards, and that allows us to make our way into the third row. So that actually folds all the way forwards and leans just a little bit more. Now at 5'10", I can easily make my way into these back seats. It's a little bit crammed, I'd say, for legroom, but nonetheless, you can have full-size adults in the back. There's 2 cup holders right in the middle, even Alcantara on this entire headliner, small window right there. So you do have some visibility out of this back window area. So it's not too claustrophobic, but it definitely works for a full-size adult. As you can tell though, I have around an inch or so above my head, so I could be back here, maybe around town or something like that. So now that I'm in the second row, this is the view with this entire door all the way up. All I need to do is push on this button right there, and it will lower the door, so you don't even have to do any work. And then this is the view from these seats. We have the massive window. I'll show over on this passenger side. This is the glass from this perspective. It is very open feeling on the inside of this Tesla. And with that unique windshield going past the rear view mirror, definitely very cool to see. So I have plenty of legroom at 5'10" with the front seat set at my height. There's a lot of space right in the middle. And then for this center screen here, if I just tap on it, you can see the temperature adjustments. There's the fan speed to click on. If I push on this button, you can control which seat you want heated. There's a few different settings. Even that third row is heated too, which is very impressive to see. You can go into music. If I play on this, you could actually play some YouTube if you want to watch this video, Netflix, Hulu, anything you want. There's the mute for the audio, and then over on the low section here, you can adjust the temperature. So it's pretty cool to have that large screen. Underneath, if I open this up, there are 2 cup holders, so you can utilize those as you need to. Very nice how that's integrated together, and that's a pretty large screen, so you could see that from the back seats as well. And then in order to get out, we'll just push the button on the top and the door will automatically open up. So you cannot do this manually. I don't believe you can. And then when I get out, I'll just push on the close button. It sensed that I was in the way, so it actually delayed a little bit, and now it can close right up. Now as we move on to the front doors, I'll do the same thing. Push on the front there, the door will automatically open up. You can close it manually. You can also close it automatically just by pushing on this button, which I'll do here in a little bit. But as you can tell, black with the white leather interior, there's carbon fiber, brushed aluminum, all the window controls, and a little bit of storage space down in the lower section of the door. There's also a cool X badge right down on the door sill. And if I move this door all the way opened, you can see just how far it opens. It will only automatically open up so far, but we have the white leather interior, heated and ventilated seats, cool black piping running down them, and all the automatic adjustments. Now hopping into this, the door sill is very low, so it's pretty easy to get into this vehicle. And with the door opened up all the way, I can either grab the door handle itself or just tap on the top and the door will automatically close. Very cool to see that just by pushing on that. That's the release in order to get out of this vehicle too. Now with the Model X Plaid, this is the steering wheel that you get. Pretty interesting. I'll talk about this more once we get it out on the road. But over on the left side is the turn signals. You can adjust the radio. You even have the high beams. Over on this right side, there's the horn, along with the adaptive cruise control system that it has to offer. There's a rotary dial where you can go through some more information, like the wiper blades, where you can go through the different speeds, and even the voice commands. Now there's no start-stop button, so once we're in, all the electronics are on. When you walk away from the vehicle and lock it, everything will shut off. But with my foot on the brake, you can see the arrow indicating it's time to go into drive. You could go into reverse, of course. If I just swipe over on this left side of the screen, we can now go into drive, where I just need to press the accelerator in order to start up. You can see the odometer, the outside temperature, there's the auto hold on that right side, along with what gear you're in. But right in the middle, if I put this back into park just by tapping on that P, there is a lot of information. Basically everything is within this center screen. So in the lower section, over on this right side, you can mute the audio. There's also the manual adjustment for the temperature, where you can pull up these seat adjustments too. All these icons at the bottom, you can pull up this lighting show just depending on what you'd like to see. So if you've seen videos of Teslas doing their lighting, this is how you can get to it right here. So that's pretty interesting to see when they have Christmas music going and videos like that. This is how you can adjust all of that. There's also some more entertainment features you can go through. You can look at all the screens that I showed in the back as far as all these apps to watch. There's the lighting show again. If I push on these buttons, there's a lot more apps just depending on what you'd like to go through and use the most. And then we have the camera system. So all of those exterior cameras, you can go through all of these angles just depending on what you'd like to see. And the navigation is also pulled up over on that right side as well, but it gives you a great graphics to see all this information. You can go into music and your phone too. And then if I push on this car icon, this is pretty much how you can control this entire vehicle. So we have the controls here for the trunk and the front space. If I push on that button, it will open up where you can see even more storage space. Very helpful to see that amount of room and being utilized for this vehicle. You can open the back doors from here, the charging port, you have the wiper blades, child locks, all of this information right in the middle. Steering you can go into as well to control how you want that dial to work, to be able to go through all of that information. We have the pedals and the steering. This is how you can adjust all of that. There's even the auto suspension. You can adjust the ride height too. There's even the comfort, whether you want it stiff or soft. We have the charging, the autopilot system, which I'll talk about later, all of the locks, the display, your lights. This is interesting. There's no turn signal stock and there's no lighting stock. So as you saw, you can get to it here, but you can also go into here to further that information. You can set them on automatic, so you don't even have to push that on the steering wheel. We have the displays, your trip information, pulling up the navigation to go through all that information. Everything is pretty much on this one screen. So it's very cool how you can quickly get to all this information. It was a little intimidating at first, but that's a pretty good layout to go through all the info. Now underneath that, there's more Alcantara. Looks like you could place a phone on either side. The hazards are right in the middle. There's even more leather and carbon fiber. And in the middle here is a small tray. You can close that up where there will be more carbon fiber. And then there's two cup holders behind that. Right in the middle is the center armrest with a good amount of storage space to put anything that you'd like there. And then as far as the glove box goes, you do have to go back into these controls. If I push on that button, it will automatically open up where there's a good amount of storage space, more carbon fiber just above that, and a look from the driver's seat with the windshield going all the way to the headrest. Very interesting to see that. Another look at the Alcantara headliner, the dome lights right in the middle. There's even a camera in the rear view mirror right in the middle. As we get the 2022 Tesla Model X Plaid out on the road now, this is such an interesting vehicle to drive. And I wanted to show all the climates here because I'm still trying to figure out everything about this car. With everything being located in the center screen, there is so much information, not a whole lot of buttons either. So you kind of have to look and find some things. Obviously, the more that you drive this, the more you get used to it, but even finding the fan speed, heated and cooled seats, all of that information, you can get to it quickly by pushing on some of these dials. So it's a learning experience for me to show you guys what it's like to be behind the wheel. So this is essentially my first impressions. I've been in some other electric vehicles before, so I have some knowledge in interaction with electric vehicles, but this Model X Plaid is far different than even the Model 3 sedan, which I've been in, other electric vehicles. When I got behind the wheel of this, not only was it different with this windshield, but the steering wheel, it's like straight out of a Formula 1 car without any top of it. It's very interesting, especially in the slower speed situations. You basically have to go hand over hand. So if I'm turning real tight, I gotta switch to where the other hand was. I'm being a little exaggerative right there, but oh boy. So let's give it a little bit of acceleration. Oh my goodness. That is probably the fastest acceleration that I've ever done in a vehicle. Wow, that is impressive. You can't beat electric cars as far as how much power that they can produce because everything is instant. The moment you tap that accelerator, you are already up to speed. So we'll do that again here. Oh, you can just feel the blood like go right to the back of your head. Wow, I was even in some Model 3s about a week ago, and that's impressive. You will beat pretty much everything that pulls up to you at a stoplight. But this is what I'm talking about with trying to make a 3-point turn. Now we're gonna swipe down on this for reverse, and you're basically just kind of like twisting the whole thing. It's very interesting. You would get used to it, of course, but without having everything else to grab onto, it's a little different. But you pretty much are like in a fighter jet, ready to drive this and give yourself a headache. I'm gonna leave it at that. that's quick. That's quick. I will say too, it's so interesting to be able to look straight up at the sky. Not that you want to daydream while you're driving this, but you can look straight up. And I love how the glass is pretty much tempered on the top section here. So the sun rays won't be able to get in as much, kind of like tinted glass in a sense. But it doesn't, I can't feel any of the heat above my head. And so as we switch over to the POV angle now, we will just swipe forwards. It says press the accelerator there to drive. So we are ready to go. This is the view for the Model X Plaid. Unlike any other vehicle that I've ever been in. Oh my goodness. Wow, it is so incredibly quick. Now I'm not pushing this to its limits like that 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds that it's capable of doing. Wow, that is the last acceleration for today's video. It's insane what this Tesla is capable of doing, and the range that it has too. You know, around 300 miles, I would say is pretty adequate for the electric vehicles that are coming out. Seems to be on the farther side. I think there's an extended range package for this. I'm not quite sure on that, but it's a pretty far range, so you could drive this a lot. What I've found from driving electric vehicles, I actually had one for a whole week, is the fact that it is better as a city vehicle. If you're driving this long distances, which you can go into here and actually find in the navigation, I think it was, you can look for your routing and your trip planner. So if you're taking this long distances, you can plan accordingly. And obviously that's going to take a little bit more time than just filling up a gasoline vehicle. So it is doable. You just need to buy this knowing that that's what you have to do if you want an electric vehicle. But like I said, I think it's a lot better around town because you can drive around the city, head home, charge it, and then head out the following day. So as far as the electric technology goes, I think it is pretty cool. And the fact that we have a very quick vehicle. This even has the one pedal driving too. So that way you can, you don't have to use the brake pedal if you don't want to. With the regenerative braking as well, it will charge it, of course, as you're driving, as you're braking. And it's been very, very smooth with that adaptive suspension. I didn't show the different riding heights, but when you're going pretty quick, it will go to the lowest ride height. And then obviously you can raise it if you need a little bit more ground clearance. But unfortunately, I think that's going to wrap it up for this 2022 Tesla Model X Plaid. Once again, massive shout out to Alta Auto Group for providing this vehicle for me today. Check out their website. They're always getting in some awesome pre-owned inventory. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on our daily uploads.